Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Scots on the Run podcast, where we take a behind-the-scenes look at what's happening in the Gordon College cross-country and track and field programs. In this episode, we're back from winter break. We're talking to Alivia Geraghty, fresh off of a school record in the weight throw in our first meet back this past weekend. But first, as always, Coach Miela, how's it going?
It's good. And actually, we didn't talk about this, but earlier today I did a workout with our top female sprinter, and I hadn't done anything since October. And I'm telling you, I sat in my office for an hour, and I couldn't do anything. I tried, I thought I couldn't even do work on I'm realizing how old I am, born in 91, I'm getting up there, man. So that was an experience to be reminded of what a 400-meter runner feels like. Other than that, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that we're already back at it, but
yeah,
I don't know. It feels like cross-country season didn't wrap up that long ago, but I guess it's been 2 months already, and here we are.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that big break, it flies by, so.
Yeah. Well, I'm a staff worker here now, so I only get 1 week off for Christmas, so.
Oh, my gosh.
The students
That's
get.
horrible.
You're big-time adult now.
Yeah, so no wonder it feels shorter, because
Yeah.
it is by a lot.
Yeah. We have Alivia Geraghty here. How are you today?
I'm fantastic.
Yeah?
Yep, so good.
We're glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
Good.
So, I guess just to start, take us through the meet this past weekend. I heard you broke a school record in the weight throw,
Yeah.
11.85 meters. So,
Yeah.
how was your meet?
It was good. I didn't really know what to expect going into my first college meet and competing, but it was really incredible to see how our training paid off and how the amount of time that we spend with our teammates really pays off as well in our community, and just the support that I felt during my throws and after and before was absolutely incredible and something I've never really seen before in my other teams. So it is really fun.
Now, Coach, I'm going to have to defer to you here quite a bit because I come from the running background. I never threw collegiately. So from your side of things, what went into preparing the throwers for our first meet back from break here?
Well, I, for the first time, I guess there was a time when I coached the throwers for a little bit when I was coaching in high school, and but we didn't have weight throw or anything like that. So early on, Alivia remembers I was the throws coach. And to be clear, I don't think that it was the month of me coaching you that made the difference on Saturday.
It was. It was.
No, we were really blessed to find a throws coach who's come in and done an excellent job with our throwers. We might have referenced this earlier, in some of the other podcasts, but we were able to start track training back in September, really.
Right.
And I think that getting in that rhythm, whereas before we were starting pretty much the beginning of November, just getting in that rhythm has been really significant. Adding those 6 weeks, it's really established, again, a good training cycle. And so by the time it came to actually compete, I feel like, everybody was just itching to compete. And I'd say for Alivia and the throws in particular, where we're working really well together is Coach Goodwin, our throws coach. He does a good job of breaking down everybody's technique and really individualizing it from what I can tell for every person in terms of what they need to work on from a technique standpoint. And I've really enjoyed writing a lot of the weight room stuff for the throwers, which is something I haven't done in the past because I typically just do sprints. But my thing with them from the beginning has been, we're going to make you more explosive, more powerful, and I want you to be the best athletes on the team because you need to have the best balance. You need to be able to create the most force in a circle, and there's just so many things that I think a lot of people overlook in terms of the intricacies of throwing. So I think we started pretty early on and just making sure that we were laying down a foundation of explosiveness and athleticism in our throwers. And when Coach Goodwin came in, I think he was able to kind of really work with the technique side of things, and I think it's helped Alivia in major ways. So.
Agreed.
So, speaking of the weight room, we've got a brand new, I think, grand opening tonight. Right?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
doing
Yeah.
the
Cutting the ribbon tonight, yeah.
It's tonight as we're recording this. It'll be tomorrow by the time the episode goes up.
Uh-huh.
But, what's happening exactly? Is it just a ceremony, the ribbon cutting, or is it
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a ceremony, and yeah, I think this is one of the major things that has happened since I've been here. The weight room itself is a symbol of the direction that Gordon Athletics is headed in the future. I think that there's a lot of momentum, a lot of people who want to see not only us be a top Christian school, but a school that can be, really competitive on the athletics side as well. I think we want to be a school where you can get everything. You can have a strong community in a Christian environment while also competing at a high level. Actually, Liv, I'm curious, how has it been? Because before we were in the rec center upstairs, sharing weights with everyone. Now we have our own varsity weight room. What has it meant to you so far, just using it in this first week that we've had it?
I think it's really been such a big change, I think, and I didn't expect it. Just, it's so much more efficient to be able to be one team in the varsity weight room now, opposed to a couple teams and then a bunch of individual people trying to work out in the upstairs weight room. So just on the efficiency side, I think it's so much better. And I think it's so much more fun to be with the sprinters and the jumpers all together in like this close proximity, because when we were upstairs, we were kind of all doing our own thing. We weren't really around each other. So now we can interact even more, which also helps with our community building and just bonds that we're creating with each other.
Definitely. It's been huge for just the team dynamics as a whole. Because, yeah, it is more of a space where we're all together in the same spot instead of throwers over there, sprinters over here, distance over here. It's we're able to we're all doing different workouts for specific events, but we're still working together side by side. And I know that's been a lot of fun to hear people hooting and hollering as we're putting up big weight. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, on the subject of building that team chemistry, obviously you personally, you can't start much better in terms of a start to your season than going out and breaking a school record, but how are you looking to build on that as we get into the heart of a season here over these next few meets and then roll right into outdoor season?
I'm so excited. I'm really happy with where I started. I know that I can progress and I know I can do better than what I've done so far. So I'm really excited to see where that goes. And also I'm so excited for my teammates to see where they go as well, because we haven't competed a ton so far. So just to be able to see everybody else grow as well and be able to spend that time, like meets are so long. So we have so much time to just spend time with each other and get to know each other even better, which is so exciting. And I'm really excited for outdoor to start, for sure. Can't wait.
For outdoor to start, we're
Yeah.
mid-January, we're not not even halfway through.
Looking towards the future.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you had a follow-up, but I wanted to say a few things. So our school record going into Saturday in the weight throw was 9.80, and you threw 11.56, I believe. Yeah. So not only is that almost, did you break the school record by almost 2 meters? Your previous weight throw, which I know you didn't do that much in high school, but your previous weight throw PR was 10.61. Yeah, so you almost improved by a meter there.
Our news release says 11.85.
Oh, is it? That's right. Okay, yeah.
Tiana's shot put was 11.54.
Okay. Maybe I am mixing those two up. So it was like a full 2 meters, over a meter PR. And frankly, I mean, I watched all your throws. I was there, during your warm up and stuff. And if you asked anybody who watched her, I think her last warm up throw was probably her best throw of the day. So I think, as you start to kind of settle in here, you left some distance out there. I think that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess what do you think you need to do to get that extra distance moving forward for the rest of the season?
I think the biggest deal for me is not to think. I think too much.
Sure.
So just before I throw, when I'm waiting in line, when they say I'm up next, I'm on hold, I just need to clear my mind. I think that's the biggest issue I had going into this meet, was I was just thinking too much. And when I do that, I get in my head, and when I get in the circle, I'm thinking about so many things that everything I'm thinking about, you can't do everything correctly. So you need to go in thinking of one thing and do that one thing right. So for me, it's just getting out of my head and having fun. And so instead of being like, I need to beat all of these people, or thinking these people are so much better than me, these are D1 schools we're competing against, I just need to go in thinking about myself. I'm competing against myself. So I think that's the biggest deal for me going forward.
I want to ask you one more thing. I'm sure Ben might have something else for you, but earlier in the week, I asked everyone, what was your mindset going into the best performance you've ever had? And I also asked, what was your mindset going into the worst performance you ever had? I'm curious what you learned from that exercise.
It was interesting because I was thinking about this and it makes sense. But going into my worst performance, it was when I was in my head thinking I need to beat everyone. I'm going to let people down if I don't. And going into my best, I'm just going to have fun.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it all out there. It doesn't matter if this doesn't determine my worth. It doesn't determine how hard I've worked to get to this point. So they're complete opposites.
Right.
And so you need to go in with a mindset of every throw's a new throw. And you have 3 throws. And so if you throw your first one and you foul, your next throw, you don't have to foul again.
Right.
But you can get into the mindset where you're like, okay, well, I fouled my first one. Now I don't know what my next ones are going to look like. So it's just important to remember that you have 3 and they're all going to be different.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Well, that's what we talk about a lot. I mean, I try to, as the coach of the program or whatever, I try to bring everything back to life, back to the skills that we are developing in you.
Yeah.
And what you're describing right there is a growth mindset,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're basically just saying, okay, just because something happened to me, again, just because I didn't do well on my previous math exam doesn't mean that I'm going to do poorly on all of them.
Right.
Right? And that's, again, that's something, that is a mindset in life that if you can approach everything and say, I can work towards growing into something better. This one thing doesn't define me, even though it was a mistake and I didn't like the outcome. Again, and especially in throws and some of these other events where you have multiple attempts, it is always on the forefront of your mind that you cannot, you have to somehow flush the last one and really just focus on executing the next one, regardless of what the last one looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, your school record wasn't the only one that was broken.
That's right.
This past weekend. I
That's right.
believe we had 4 total. We
Right.
debuted the mixed 4x4
That's right.
relay, so that was going to be a school record by default, I guess.
Yeah.
But one of those runners, Henry Lonstein, who was on
Yeah.
the last episode, broke his own school record in the 60-meter dash.
Yep.
Down to a 7.22, and then Chewy, I believe,
Yep.
broke school record as well
In the long jump.
jump. So aside from those, obviously, Coach, what else stood out to you from Saturday's meet?
So it was really nice to see Henry and Chewy kind of make steps forward and just continue to improve on the school records that they set back in December. We had a handful of PRs. Peter McGinn is a guy who has worked really hard, who's really determined, and honestly, his confidence in what he can accomplish is, I think, probably his greatest attribute. He went out and had a really solid 400. I think he's going to be able to build on that moving forward. He's also a pole vaulter, which is probably the event I'm most excited for with him. He didn't PR today, but that's also because he got over a bar, ran the 400, and then came back and tried to clear another bar, which also happened the last time he vaulted. So we're hoping that when he competes next that he should be able to just vault and focus on that. Emily Bankston, she's actually the goalie on our soccer team. She went out and had a very solid 60. She didn't even use blocks because we just haven't had enough time to work with her yet. And so she's been impressive, from an athletic standpoint, but also what she brings to the team from a competitive mindset and things. We're really happy to have her out. And then 2 more guys I would mention would be, I guess I'll do 3. Malachi, double PR days are always great. He PR'd in the long jump and in the 60. And then I really wanted to mention on the distance side, Jesse Commanda and Stephen Kalin. Their 3Ks were really hard fought, really competitive. You could see that they ran smart, but then when it came time to compete, they dropped the hammer and did what they needed to do. So I love watching good tacticians on the distance side, and those 2 guys really displayed that on Saturday.
Well, Coach, thanks again.
Of course.
It's good to be back from the winter break here, and
Back at it, man.
1 meet down and several more to go, and I'm sure
Yeah.
Hopefully several more school records will
Yep.
end up going as well. So
Yep. So we won't compete this Saturday. We'll go pretty much every other Saturday until spring break, and then when we get to our outdoor season, it'll be six in a row. Until our conference championship. So, one down.
all right. Well, Coach, Olivia, thank you both so
Thanks for
much. Thank
having
you all
me.
for listening,
Of course.
and we'll see you on the next episode.
See you, man.